bit disappointed in you, Johnny, especially for what you've done.
More than usual.
Right.
He's worked all week to keep this thing under wraps. Weeks, even. He's been teasing this for weeks, and then you come in with the arrogance of a text message to ruin his... Even if you know, like, secrets make no friends.
I didn't message you, did I?
No,
I messaged
but you could have.
so it could be
but now you've taken the wind out of his sails, and he's...
Well, that was bound to happen.
You could have just said, Chase, I don't know anything. I can't wait to see what you're talking about this week. I'm really excited for the mystery game. But instead you said, I know your secret. I ruined it.
I am very bad at faking sincerity.
Really? Because you seem pretty good at it.
Giving myself
right
away. Oh, like when I said, hey, let's be friends.
Yeah. I don't know if you all want to tune in for the rest of this, but we are the Casual Hour. And there's mutiny, per usual.
Airing of grievances.
Yeah, welcome to the Casual Hour podcast, ostensibly about video games, but mostly about Johnny ruining surprises. I'm your host, Bobby Pease. Joining me as always, the gamer on the go, Chase Kennedy, and the gamer who likes to ruin things, Johnny Amazich.
Ooh, I like that. Let's keep that one.
We finally get it after, 2 years. We finally figured it out.
Yeah.
That's great.
We did it.
Yep.
I get told on a daily basis how much I ruin things.
Not always by us.
No.
It's fun. It's like, you're always going to hear it. But who are you going to hear it from that day?
It's true. It's bound to happen. Friends,
when you make a career in IT support, you're going to get told.
It's true.
Yeah.
You've ruined a variety of things, including people's entire lives.
Yeah.
So, Bobby understands.
You've definitely ruined mine. Hey, for those of you who are tuning in, we'd like to talk about video games, but also each other. And tonight's episode is what we call a classic Casual Hour episode of What You Been Playing. We're going to tell you about the games.
That's what we call it.
The classic, casual, keeping it cash, is laid back. Just three dudes talking about video games. The dude cast.
That could have gone a whole lot of places before you said talking about video games.
But tonight, again, what you've been playing, we're going to break down the games that we've been playing, some that have been spoiled for us, some that have been good. And then you might tell us about the news during the Casual Report. And we're going to hang out and just have a great time. This is the episode before a deep dive next week, which Chase is getting all prepared for. So pretty excited. I think that
back-to-back deep dives from Chase. Over
2 times world champ. I think that we'll be okay. There is some storms happening in the St. Louis, all of Midwest, really. Some pretty severe ones. So I think we're going to be okay. But there could be some disruptions to power if things continue. And that's just another day in St. Louis.
Yeah. If my power goes out, it's Johnny's fault, everyone.
Also, Johnny and I got our second shots today.
We did.
I'm a little foggy. I'm not like terribly like out of it, but little out of sorts tonight. But I'm happy to be, and I'm happy to have that second shot under my belt, and that means that we're a few weeks away from potentially hanging out. No. They said, "Give me those tree trunk legs, big boy. We're going right for the meat." They pulled the Arby's card. They said, "Give me the meat." And I said, "You got it." And I pulled my pants down.
Joker right in the eye when they did it.
I gave him some of that dark meat, right down there in the old thigh.
I don't like any of this.
No, it was good. It was great. I'm happy to have that done, and I'm happy to be here with you all talking about games. And I can't put it off any longer. Chase, what the fuck is the big mystery game?
Well, Bobby,
Chase, tell us.
Bobby, you can play the game here. I was going to give you guys a guess.
Okay.
I have given you some hints over the time that that I mentioned, like, hey. So at one point, I think I might have mentioned this on the show. I'd given Bobby a choice. Should I play a very short game that would be good for the podcast, or should I play a very long game that would just be for me? And he said, play the short game. So I played Nuts.
I like golf.
We talked about Nuts on the show. Nuts was great. But now, a couple weeks later, I still have been thinking about this longer game, this 60+ hour game.
Is that long?
And I would say that's long. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Nuts was like 3.5 hours. So yeah,
I mean,
Not
in comparison,
if that's long, what's 80 hours? What's an
I
80-hour
played
game?
longer.
Okay. I was gonna say.
Medium's like 15.
Okay.
30,
Medium's
I don't
15,
know.
30. 40 to 60 would be long.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then
80's
anything over
extra
60
long.
is kind of anything over 60 is like holy shit, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a long game.
Okay. Fair.
Anyway, so I told you it was a long game. And then over the weekend when I started playing it, I gave you guys one more hint. And I said this game is fucking Star Wars.
Yeah.
It is not a Star Wars licensed game, but it is the most Star Wars ass non-Star Wars game I've ever played. So those are your hints. It is a 60-hour game, and it's a lot like Star Wars. And I'll give you one more hint since Johnny kind of ended up ruining it for you, is that I'm playing it on the Switch. So it's something that you can play on a Switch. Do you have any guesses?
Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
That's actually a great guess, because that is a game that I own on my Switch that I would consider playing, even though I do not like the first one. It is not, though. It is not. I'll give you one more hint. I think this is giving it away, but I'll give you one more hint. I've purchased this game 3 different times, and this is the first time that I'm actually playing it.
God damn it. I know this one.
That is the most Chase thing about this.
It is really
It is.
the most
And
chase.
shit. I know. I know that
I
one.
bought the original copy for the PS2. I never played it because I didn't own a PS2 until much later. I then purchased the updated version when it came to PS4, and I never played it. And then it came out on the Switch, and I was like, "Well, I'm going to play it on the Switch if I was going to play it on anything, right?" So then I picked it up on the Switch, and
I'm
now
blanking,
like
man.
a year and a half.
I'll blame it
after
on the
purchasing
second
it,
shot. I'm a little foggy.
I am playing, and it's a game you know. It's a game you're familiar with. I am playing Final Fantasy XII.
Okay.
The Zodiac Age.
Yeah. The Zodiac Age. Yes, I'm playing the Zodiac Age version, which is actually, I'd never played that PS2 version, so I can't really say. But I do know one of the things they added in the Zodiac Age is an ability to double or quadruple the game speed. And holy shit, I want to play all of my video games like this. It is incredible.
So,
it's so good.
This is a 3D Final Fantasy game, right? Still turn-based Final Fantasy? When did they when was the break, right? Because they were very distinctively a turn-based, at least until 7.
And
so if you want rigidly turn-based, it was 1, 2, and 3 were rigidly turn-based. Then they introduced active time battle for 4.
Okay.
And they kept active time battle for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I think 9 is also active time battle.
Okay.
10 does something a little different where it's based on character speed. So it's kind of back to traditional turns, but you can, if you're speedy enough, you can take multiple turns before the enemy can take a turn, something like that.
Got it. Okay.
11's an MMO. 12 is like a single player MMO. 13 is 13.
We don't. Let's not talk.
Is 13 bad?
13 was the most disappointed I've ever been in a video game at that point in time.
I actually am really excited to play 13 someday. I've heard all the things that it is super linear, that it doesn't get going until like 20 hours in, and part of me wants to go I'm up for that challenge. I want to see what they're talking about there. I played a demo of it one time, and I thought this is all right. I kind of like
real pretty.
Yeah, it's super pretty. I like kind of the ideas of what they're doing with the combat. I like the character designs and the characters themselves. I'll play 13 someday, but today was a 12 day.
Okay.
Do you know what do you know about 12?
This one looks to be maybe not as futuristic as what 7 was, but maybe back to the roots of more medieval-esque or Renaissance-esque.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's so I say it's like Star Wars because it is very much ships and floating cities in the clouds and some guns and laser shit, but also people with swords, people kind of being like punk little kids who get caught up in political intrigue stuff. I am in the middle of the sand place, as you mentioned, right now. I basically just fought Tusken Raiders. They're absolutely just like, it's like they mixed Tusken Raiders and Jawas, and they're like, these were both the Star Wars sand things, and now here, Final Fantasy XII. There's a princess who's kind of like secretly leading a rebellion. Like this game is fucking Star Wars. Like it just needs droids, and then it would absolutely just 100% be Star Wars. I really like it though, because we talked about Star Wars in the past.
Sure.
You two at least know my feelings on a lot of modern Star Wars stuff.
You hate it.
I don't think we've ever talked about it.
I don't hate it.
You hate all Star Wars that's not made in the 2000 era. You went for the real good ones.
I maintain that I love Star Wars more than you guys do.
Bullshit.
Which I know, like you're wearing a Tatooine hat right now. I know, and a shirt. Yes, you are a big Star Wars fan, but I don't think you're a very discerning Star Wars fan. Let me put it that way. I think you see the Star Wars title and you go, yes, I'm all in.
It's not true.
I don't know. I think you like Masters of Terrascasi. That's what I maintain. But so my problem with a lot of Star Wars is it's too referential these days. You have movies that are basically just the old movies. You have the Mandalorian doing something really cool, and then saying, "Well, we gotta shove Boba Fett in it somehow." And also here's part of Anakin Skywalker's pod racer. Because like we gotta right, we gotta for the fans. We gotta throw Luke Skywalker there at the end because we just can't do anything original in this universe.
Why would you have a show in the timeline that Luke is legitimately in his prime and act like he doesn't exist when you're at Tatooine? And
it's a galaxy, man. There's so many things in the galaxy. You can tell small stories anywhere.
Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, this is why I really like.
I guess Pikachu shouldn't be in the next Pokemon game either.
Bobby, I don't have time to argue about that. Anyway, I like Final Fantasy XII because I think it is homage to Star Wars without outright referencing Star Wars. It is able to take on a lot of elements that go, oh yeah, those are the kinds of things that I like about Star Wars. These kinds of stories, these kinds of characters, without being a cut and paste like I think a lot of modern Star Wars stuff does. What does feel cut and paste is the music, which absolutely just sounds like fucking Star Wars music. Like it is light strings and horns, and it's like that. No, this is you guys just like found some Star Wars music cut on the floor, and you're like, we'll take that. We'll just grab that over there, and
we'll take that
now. But anyway, I actually really like this game, and I haven't gotten to talk about the game too much. So I did say it is a single player MMO kind of game. It feels like an MMO when you're walking around it, but there's no online, there's no multiplayer. You are just playing this game alone. But you do walk through cities, you walk through zones in similar ways that you would an MMO. Your party gets these lines that shows which enemy they're going to attack, and the enemies are the same way. You'll see a line on who they're aiming for. There are cooldowns for all the attacks. And what I think is the most interesting thing is the way that this game does automation. So it's got what's called a gambit system. And the gambit system is basically just a way for you to program moves for all of your party members, including your party leader.
Huh.
And you can say, there are three different things that each gambit can do. You pick a target first, and you get a huge list of targets, and there's even a shop that sells targets for you. So you can say, okay, I want to target enemies who have HP equals 100. So enemies who are at full health, I want to do this specific action to them. Then you pick the next action, the action that you do. But you could also say, I want to target allies whose health is under 30%, and I want to use item potion.
And who's doing this? Your character or just a system?
It would be my character, and you can set them up per character. So I can say, okay, this character I'm building to be more of a support character. I can build them to say, okay, first thing you do in a battle, cast or all allies or ally all shell, and they'll cast the shell spell on us to give us. I think shell does
like a barrier, right?
Magic defense, yeah.
Okay.
But you can set up all these different things, and you can buy more Gambit slots for each character as well. So you can give them all these really specific things you want them to do. So, for instance, I have on my party leader, I have attack or target enemy nearest. Like just target the nearest enemy and attack them. That's all I want you to do. And
Cool.
then for other guys, I have target enemy who party leader is targeting. And then they attack that too. So now we're only attacking one thing at a time instead of spreading our damage out all over all these other enemies. We can be really focused. But you can also just totally switch that up and change the way things work. You can change the target stuff to allies at different HP levels with different status effects. So I can have, hey, if you ever see that my character or any ally is affected by poison, go ahead and throw an antidote on us. And I can just have that as one of their gambits. It is super handy. And it lets you automate a lot of the stuff, and it ends up being really fun to just kind of build the system and then let it go. It almost feels a little bit like Loop Hero in a way.
Yeah, because this is on rails.
I've outfitted my characters. Exactly. I've outfitted my characters as best I can, and now I just let the killing machines go out and do their thing. And there's something really fun about the programming aspect of that.
I can get on board with that for sure.
You can even switch up. Yeah. You can even switch up your Gambit styles or your Gambit sets. So I could have a set that is specifically made for fighting bosses who use fire damage. And I can set that up of, okay, I want you to cast fire resist on party. I want you to do this. I want you to use these kinds of attacks, use this water attack on enemy with highest HP. Maybe I have somebody else who's there to hit any of the ads that are there. So I can have lowest HP on some other ones and say, or enemies, if there are +3 enemies or more around, you attack with this big AoE spell. And you can also order your gambits to have them take different priorities. So you usually put your health ones, any ones that are about getting health back, up at the top. So if those things proc, then they'll do those first.
You just got like a stream deck for your characters, essentially.
Yeah, kinda. I really like it though. I think it's a cool system.
How far are you into it?
I don't have a ton. I'm about 8 hours in.
And is that gambit at the beginning, or is that something you unlock?
You unlock. I think everybody unlocks 2 gambit slots as soon as you get them. But then you get the ability, because this game also has a job system, and not only a job system, but it has what's called a license board. And every job point you get, or they're called license points in this one, you can spend on different parts of this license board. And some of those power-ups are add a gambit slot, add another gambit slot, add another gambit slot, and then different weapons you can use, different classes of weapons you can use, different armor types, that kind of stuff. So those are things you unlock on the license board for each of the jobs. And then at some point, I haven't gotten it yet, but at some point I'll be able to switch my jobs to a new job and play with that. I don't know how much of the old jobs come over, but we'll see on that. Anyway,
man, you're gonna make me play this.
I think it's really fun.
Now, okay, can we pause for a sec?
Yeah. What do you got?
So I played this game 7-8 years ago. Like, I bought a PS2 copy, and I put a few hours into it, and it just agitated me for some reason. I can't remember exactly.
It was probably slow as shit.
That was a part of it. Yes. Okay. So yeah, like, do you think? Because I liked a lot of what they were doing with the story, but the trimmings around it, I was like, I don't have time for this shit, and I ended up just not. Do you think someone like me would have a more enjoyable experience? Because I felt bad, because it was like the only Final Fantasy game I'd never tried, aside from 11 at that time.
Are you even a fan?
No.
Johnny, I think someone like you should finish your other fucking games before you try to play Final Fantasy
Mhm.
12 again. But outside of that, yeah,
Yep.
I actually think the Zodiac Age is a really great way to play Final Fantasy 12. I am always on double speed, and I think
Mhm.
double speed is a great way to play that. Quad speed feels too fast,
That
and
sounds a little hectic.
unless I'm going out and grinding enemies, I'll sometimes go quad speed for that. But for most of the time, I just play on double speed, and I find that to be, it's you don't go past chests or anything too often. Like you don't overshoot them because you're in double speed. You still see stuff, and it
Yeah.
doesn't double the cutscene speed, thankfully. So you still see all that stuff in regular speed, but it really does cut down on a lot of the filler and a lot of the bullshit
Mhm.
because it's just real easy to
Yeah.
run back and forth to things.
Yeah.
That's been no problem at all.
I like that in Dragon Quest 11 with the
Yeah,
combat. Like
totally.
just crank it all the way up. Let me
Yep.
get through this so I can get to the good bits.
It looks like you can
One of
find
the
this
things
pretty inexpensive for PC, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I bet it's pretty cheap, and occasionally Square Enix will have sales on eShop, and I know that I bought it when it was on sale at one point. Um, w- I'm just having a real fun time with this
That's
game.
awesome.
I really like a lot of what it's doing. I like some of the characters. I wish there were more characters for my party, and I don't know if I'm gonna find any more. I feel like I've got a pretty full party at this point, and most of them are just humans, which is okay. There is one rabbit girl named Fran who's pretty cool. She's an archer,
I liked
and
Fran.
she's she's kind of like I would say she's like a sexy Chewbacca.
Wait,
In
there's already
yeah,
one of those.
Yeah. What are you
his name's
talking about?
You
Chewbacca.
can't already. There's already a sexy Chewbacca. You can't say they're like one. That exists. They reference. They exude. There's already a sexy Chewbacca.
It's not in looks. It's in that she is
Have you heard
the
him talk?
just in that she's the co-pilot for this kind of sky pirates ship. Like
Thank
she's the
you. I
one
mean, I
who
put some
does
respect
machines
on
and shit
sexy
like that.
Chewbacca's name.
Of course, absolutely. But she's fun. I like her, and she's got a bit of an accent to her that I can't quite place. It's
Kashyyyk.
like, damn it.
I
Um,
heard that. What about the Wookiee attack? Or whatever that
What
stupid
about the
fucking quote.
sexy?
I
What about the
mean,
attack on the sexy Wookiees?
she she does use a bow, so I guess that's similar to a bolt
Mhm.
Fair.
caster. There are crossbows in this game, though. I haven't used a class that uses the crossbow yet, but that is
Okay.
an option.
God damn it! This sounds really
Um,
cool.
it is cool. I'm having a real good time with it. I like a lot of what it's doing. I like some of it just feels like there's systems that are built to be broken.
Okay.
I found an accessory that doubles my XP. I found an accessory that doubles the amount of license points that drop from each enemy. Being able to up the speed and just grind around and do grinding super quickly is really nice. Or just to run from area to area. It's just a real
It's
nice,
awesome.
fun feeling, kind of breezy game. One of the things that's the most amazing to me, I went on to How Long to Beat to just see. Okay, I mean
Yep.
it's a Final Fantasy game; it's going to be long, right?
Sure.
Final Fantasy 12 regular, original PS2 Final Fantasy 12 says it clocks in if you just played the main story, 60 hours. If you play the like main and extra, it was something like 90, and then if you were completionist, it was like 160. And for the Zodiac Age, they have a separate thing for Zodiac Age, and that listing says main game is only 40 hours, and main and
Interesting.
extra is 60, and completionist is 100. And I don't know if that takes into account the double or quadruple speed,
Oh
or
wow.
if they do other things to cut
They have
down
to, right?
I don't know if it
length
would.
of that game. But it's one of the only games I can think of whose update it makes it faster. Like doesn't necessarily cut content, but allows you to
Sure.
complete the game more quickly than before. Like usually games add
Uh,
shit, right?
the Wind Waker HD, they changed how
That's
you get the
true. That's a good
Triforce.
point.
Yeah,
But I
That
mean,
is
that's
it's
true.
not. To your point though, it's not something you hear happening all that often. Usually, it's just
yeah. I mean, usually you get deluxe editions. They're like, oh, we added more costumes, we added optional bosses, we added a true ending to our game, and it makes things longer. So it is kind of cool for this to go like, hey, yeah, a whole third of the game time that you used to spend, fuck that, you don't need that anymore. And it makes me really excited to keep jumping in and playing this and seeing
that's awesome.
There.
I'm so pumped,
I'm having a real good time with it.
I was anticipating to not care about what you were playing because I figured it was going to be some anime bullshit, and it is anime bullshit.
I mean,
but it's anime bullshit that I think will be really cool.
Bobby, you are anime now. You love anime.
I think outside of one game that I won't be talking about too much tonight, I'm kind of like Chase Jr. You've heard of Carl's Jr. I'm Chase Jr. But yeah, it's
you got a hot ham and cheese.
Who goes to fucking Carl's Jr. for a hot ham and cheese?
Not me. I don't know. I've never been to a Carl's Jr.
You've been to Hardee's?
Hardee's.
Yes.
Then what is you get a hot ham and cheese at Hardee's?
I know that they're owned by the same place. I just thought maybe each one had its own signature menu item.
That's a good question. I don't know. No, you get a thick burger if you're going to.
Or is it purely just the name? Like on the West Coast, it's this, and the Midwest, it's this.
I'm kind of surprised that they didn't change how they spelled thick burger in this day and age.
God. 3 C's.
All right.
And the C stand for cholesterol.
So that's really the only game I've been playing that I can really talk about. I've been playing someone else that Johnny's going to talk about, and I'll jump in there. Okay. But one other thing I've been doing that I think is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Let me try this. Let me try something here.
Oh boy.
Scare anybody.
We're gonna blow up the stream.
Maybe. All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
No. Yes. Oh God.
Hey, it's me.
Hey,
it's me. This is Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age.
All right. Is this the rest of the stream now? We're just gonna watch you play this game because I'm totally.
No, because I'm pretty sure it's choppy as shit because of my.
Actually, it's not too bad right now compared to what it was when we did the first test.
That was Animal Crossing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe this is better.
Well.
Yeah. Hey, I was a cutscene.
Yeah, it's choppy. It's chugging.
Okay, good.
It's a little bit.
Is any of the audio for it coming through?
No.
Good. Okay. All right. Anyway, so the way I'm doing this is I got one of them Genki Shadowcasts, and I've been messing around with it a little bit, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is a cool piece of tech.
I have one on order, as does Bobby, but ours are not here yet.
Yeah. So I mean they had the same chip shortage stuff, and
they were impacted by the canal.
They were not. They did say they sent out an email that said like, "Hey, none of our shit was on those ships. We don't
so
do
it wasn't.
Of that.
I'm sorry, it wasn't the canal. There was in one of their recent backer updates. They asked somebody who was handling their distribution to own up to it, and they're basically told to like fuck off, that they weren't going to do that, and so they had a big issue with shipping on something. It was around the same time the canal happened, but they sent out a update on Kickstarter. So they had that on top of the shortage, which sucks.
So here's a fun thing. I'm sure this is super choppy, especially when I'm going at quad speed here.
Half a frame a second.
Yeah.
But also it's flipped for me. Like it's mirrored on my screen. Apparently it's not mirrored on yours, but it's mirrored on mine. So I'm just walking into walls because I literally don't know what to do. I'm going to turn this off, but
bouncing off the walls again over there, Chase.
Oh, hey, I also bought Moonlighter today. And Children of Morta. They were both on sale.
Game's cool.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Bought those things. Anyway, let me switch back to my face.
Chase, bring your face back.
Fix your face.
Fix your face.
Mike, fix your face.
There he is.
Anyway.
Cool.
So yeah, I think that Genki Shadowcast is really neat, even for somebody like me who is not streaming. The thing I probably would use it the most for is when I go to somewhere where I won't have a TV accessible.
Sure.
And I can just plug my Switch into my laptop and use my laptop as a monitor.
Yeah, the elevator pitch of that thing for people who don't know, it's a small, like thumb drive sized item that is essentially a capture card. You can use it for PlayStation, you can use it for your Switch, you can use it for whatever. That plugs into a laptop and allows you to use your laptop or another computer, I would imagine, for that matter, as a monitor for your console. It can also be used for I think camera work and other kinds of stuff. It's like $50, which is crazy. So if you are interested in some sort of capturing device, you do that. They have their own software for it, which is their first time making software. It's really great.
It's a super cool piece of tech. So it's like a little thumb drive looking thing that plugs into HDMI, and then it has a USB-C on the other side. So you plug the USB-C cable in, and then you plug that other USB-C cable into whatever your device is. For me, on this MacBook Pro, I have to put it into a converter for a USB, then plug USB in. But even with that extra step, it is just so dead simple. The Genki arcade app that you can download from the Mac Store or other Windows Store stuff, it just you turn it on and it's done. There's no drivers or anything that you need to download or anything like that. And I didn't even have to have the arcade app open to be able to do this Discord thing for Discord or for Skype or something. It just recognizes it as a digital camera, I think, or just
Cool.
another camera input. So it's an easy thing to just swap right in and say, "Hey, here it is. That's what it is." And I want to be clear, it's that my internet is shit, not that the Genki thing doesn't work all that well. That
for sure.
it was choppy here. So if I do ever get better internet, then that would be an easy way to stream not just Switch, but PS5, Xbox stuff, anything that uses HDMI. That'd be
huge.
super easy. And the other thing I might consider using it for, I'm not big into streaming. That's not really my scene, and I think part of that is because I don't have good internet. But the other part is I just don't think that's a thing I'm interested in. But I can record video either from the Genki Arcade app or through something like QuickTime.
Yeah.
And I can just record my screen, record a play session. I think I can even talk over it, talk into the mic.
Yeah,
And
it's
have
got all that
pick
built
up
into it, which is really great.
on the screen recording. So I could maybe record a session of something and then load it up to YouTube later.
Yeah.
And put things up that way. I don't know if I will, but it's something I'm considering.
Chat saying that you could become a cam girl with it.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I would just need to become a girl and popular.
Awesome, Chase.
I was thinking of maybe just like playing all of a Super Robot Wars game. Maybe
same energy as a cam girl.
Totally. And I know, Bobby, you'd love to.
I'd be there.
Watch every episode of that.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for those updates. I'm really excited to check out and hear more about Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, as you progress through it.
I'm gonna keep playing it. It seems pretty quiet for video games right now, at least the games that I care about. So I'm having a great time playing 12, and I'll probably keep on playing it.
To not only follow that up, but to be adjacent to it, I am also experiencing something kind of Final Fantasy-esque in a sense. At least related to it. That sweet looking Apple Arcade exclusive Fantasian is out, and I've been spending some time with it. I got about 5-6 hours into that game so far, and I think that game is neat. I think that game looks really good. I think it plays incredibly well. It does really well as a touch device, but also using a controller with it, it handles that very well also. This was made by the same individual who made some of the Final Fantasy games, or at least worked with the Final Fantasy games. I don't know.
The creator.
The creator, yeah. I don't know the
Hironobu Sakaguchi.
Correct. And so he has made this game. He's put together some of the team that worked on some of the scores for the other Final Fantasy games. And it's not a Final Fantasy game, I should say that.
Nobuo Uematsu.
Yep.
Thank you.
I was just going to say that. He said it may be his last soundtrack, which makes my heart very sad.
Yeah, look, it's an awesome sounding game. Visually, this is the one for anybody who maybe heard us talk about it on a prior episode. It uses the dioramas and stuff like that, where they've created these awesome, really detailed environments that they then put the game into. This is a turn-based game. The story has been pretty slow, I'll say that much. The story is not what's kept me going so far in it. I think it's pretty generic. And from what I've also understood, maybe one of you two can fill in the gaps here, but a lot of JRPGs use amnesia as like a big crutch for stuff, and um,
Yeah. I
that's
mean, lots of Japanese games in general. Like, have you played a
right,
Zelda game, perhaps?
right. So you wake up, you don't know who you are, where you've been. But there's a couple mechanics here that I do want to call out that I think have kept me going, and the story has started to pick up around that. So I want to talk first and foremost. It is a turn-based game, and it works really well for touch in that sense. You don't have to do a lot of input like at the same time. But one of the things that you can do when you're casting is you can bend your cast to capture more enemies when you're doing it. So I told you two, I think, off pod that if you've played a game like Angry Birds and how you would pull back the slingshot and you would use your finger to do that, if you're playing in touch mode, you literally pull back on your character and then you see the trajectory of the attack start to bend as you move your finger with it. So if there's a handful of enemies that are on the map and you wanted to take out, 3 or 4 of them, you can then line it up to where the arc will go over those 3 characters, and then as you cast, you get multiple hits that way. And it's really, really satisfying to pull off. It works fine with a joystick also, if you're playing with a controller. I think that that's really neat. The full loadout of your character, like this is a full-blown JRPG for mobile, and it does not feel like it was compromised in any of the sense. The menus are very, very detailed, very organized. You just swipe over from the screen to pull it up, and you can outfit, load out, do all that fun stuff, just like you would expect from a JRPG for sure. I think that they did an incredible job on how you navigate through the environment and how you can interact with it. There's like it feels like Final Fantasy in that sense, like from an overworld perspective. But if you are playing on touch, you just tap where you want your character to go to, and they'll run to that point. You can double tap, and they'll speed up and run versus walk to it. There's also another really cool system in play here, and it's combining 2 words, dimension and dungeon. It's called the Dimension, I think is how you say it, system.
Okay.
And what happens with this one, and one of the things that does, like, I don't particularly care about in like Pokemon or other games like this, is when you are in the overworld and you're like, I just need to get from point A to point B, but you get stopped and you have all these battles that happen. There's a system that you can turn on or off where it's essentially like taking a repel in a JRPG where it will keep things from occurring, but it's banking all of those battles. And in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, you're seeing that you can hold 30 battles essentially, and each time you go over one, it's going to dump a few enemies into the system. So when you get to where you're going, you just tap that, and you can clear it out by having this really big battle. And the cool thing that happens in it, not only are you fighting a weakened state of these enemies, but there's things placed in the environment that will allow you to get buffs while you're playing if you attack them. And so, like, I might have somebody who can do one of those curved or bent shots, but there might be an attack up on the field. There might be a turnstile on the field that if I capture that while I'm attacking, I'm getting those perks and benefiting from it while I'm in this like kind of horde-esque battle mode, which really is cool. And at the end of it, you just get a ton of materials and a lot of experience as well. It's a great way to put that off. Now you can turn it off and just have the normal occurrences happen whenever you're doing this, which is fine. But there's 2 really neat systems and mechanics at place with it that I think have stood out, in my opinion, from a lot of, and I don't have a ton of JRPG knowledge under my belt, but I haven't really done anything like this before in a game, which is fucking cool. And again, game looks and sounds great. Have you two had a chance to look at it or play it, Johnny? I know that you have Apple Arcade.
I downloaded it. I have not started it yet, though, unfortunately. Okay. But so I'd be playing on my phone. Mm-hmm. Are you playing it primarily on your iPad, I'm guessing?
No, I've been playing on my phone the most.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How are you liking the art style of it?
Because I love the art style.
Okay, because that's one of the biggest like things about it, I think, and from all the screenshots that I've seen, it looks like very visually striking.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, like in play, how it felt like while you were in there.
Yeah, there's some really nice like screen shakes and other elements that happen when you do attacks that make it feel pretty immersive. the cities that you go to. Like I'm on a boat right now, which again, like most JRPGs I've played, you end up on a boat sometime.
Boat, airship.
Yep. So I'm on a boat, and that has been the least interesting environment. I mean, I like the nature stuff a whole lot. Like I like being out in the woods and what they've done there, and like the kind of desert mountain area. This is more interior design, which it's done well. It's just comparatively speaking, it's not my favorite that they've done so far. I think I just met at least two people that, from what I have seen in some of the trailers, will end up being controllable party members, but I've interacted with them now, and one of them is really fucking neat. He has a spirit animal, like that it was a fox, or like a multiple-tailed fox that he called into battle, and he was using that fox in battle, but I think that he can have other types of spirits that he summons, which looked really, really slick. There are big boss battles as well. There's some cool synergy that happens between like casting, like to what Chase was talking about, barriers and things like that for your characters. But it's just really fucking well done. Like this game, I hate to say this because I think it's played out, but you literally do not feel like you're playing a mobile game on your phone. Like it feels very fleshed out. There's not anything that gets in the way where, like, if I play a game that's on my phone, I'm like, well, fuck, it's touch controls, and that gets in the way and kind of takes away from the immersion. But I can play this game and feel completely immersed, and time has just been flying by when I'm playing it. It's just very well done. The story has been so far the weakest point, but again, I'm like 4 to 5 hours in on a JRPG, which I think, is usually pretty normal there. But yeah.
So I've got a handful of questions here.
Let's hear it.
I haven't played this at all because I don't have Apple Arcade. I'm considering getting another month. This game would probably be one that would sell me on getting a month of it. Also, I just really want to go back and play more mini motorways.
Totally.
Which I cannot get out of my head. Fortunately, that game's getting a Steam release next month, it sounds. Okay, so questions about Fantasian.
Yeah.
Does it also work on a computer, on a Mac computer?
Yeah.
Through the
so really
Apple
quick,
Store?
Apple Arcade, Apple TV, any sort of Apple computer, iPod Touch, iPad, iPhone. And what's really cool is if you have an iCloud account and you have multiple devices, so if you have a laptop, phone, etc., your save is automatically on every device that you own. So you can bounce back and forth between it, no problem at all. I play on my iPad, I play on my phone, no issues.
Does it have controller support?
Yes. It has full controller support on every one of those devices I just listed. I'm using, Johnny, maybe you can link this in chat. It's called the Razer Kishi, I think. Kishi is how you say it. It's one of those collapsible ones that you extend and it wraps around your phone. I love that device so much. It fits in your pocket. I keep it in my backpack, but I've been using that to play it on my phone. And it kind of gives me that Switch vibe when I use that.
Okay. So do you have like defined character classes for the different people in your party? Like you mentioned, like the one guy who's the like fox dude.
Yeah. So right now your main character is sword wielding, and the first party member that you get alongside him is a woman who can heal and cast a lot of healing stuff, but also like more barrier protection. She has a staff that she uses. So like I think that traditionally you have like a warrior and probably a mage. And if I had to guess, the person that would be with the spirit, some rogue elements there. And I think that there's the other character that I saw is another female, and it looked like some of the attacks she was doing had more elemental stuff with like fire, ice, etc.
Okay. Do you have any idea how long this game might be?
I don't. I've been hesitant to look that up. It feels like it's pretty big based off of like scope and scale. But I also don't know from like all the reviews I've read have basically used like, hey, this is a full-blown JRPG on your phone. Like no compromises there.
I did go to how long to beat, and it didn't have.
There's nothing there. I already looked.
Yeah, like the game is up there.
There's still not a lot. I've seen a few. Like I've been trying to find videos on it, and a lot of the videos like, why is this only on Apple? I want on other stuff, which like I get.
That showed up. It was a lot like that for the Apple Arcade JRPG that the Bravely Default people made.
Sure.
Like that one just kind of like came and went, and nobody talked about it. And the stuff I did hear about it was that it wasn't very good. And the time I played it on my free month of Apple Arcade wasn't very good.
Chase, I think you would like this game for sure. And
I bet I would. I think I probably will re-up for a month
Yep.
to play this.
If I could invite myself to something, this would be a prime time for Gamers on the Go, and I'd love to talk about it with you there.
Okay. Maybe we could do a quick look of it.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah. I have the technology to do that.
All right. You play it just on Mac. Got a Mac around somewhere, do you?
So coincidentally enough, not to like spill the beans here, but the other thing from Genki that we haven't talked about was the Shadow dock, which allows you to take a small
stealth dock, I believe.
Stealth dock. The stealth dock essentially takes the Switch dock down to like the size of a USB brick. I just happened to have the cable from that one night, and I was going to charge my iPad, and I have the iPad Pro with the USB-C port on it, and I plugged it in, and it immediately powered up, and this was displaying on my monitor. So I can plug my iPad Pro right into that system and use my Xbox controller with it and play it that way.
How about that? Nice little bonus. Mm-hmm. That is a super cool thing. I was using that just now for the Shadowcast. I plugged the Shadowcast into the stealth dock and use that. So like I'm nowhere near my regular Switch dock.
Yeah,
it's good. I super love traveling with that thing.
We'll do a quick look. Maybe we'll record one this week and post it early next week for Fantasian.
I would be very interested in seeing that.
Yeah, what are the questions you got?
I think I only have one other question. Do you think Hironobu Sakaguchi watched the movie Wanted?
I mean, that's exactly how the bullet system works, or the it's. I thought about that quite a bit actually. Funny enough,
serving those bullets.
I never watched that movie, but it looked ridiculous.
It's a good movie. It's a way better comic. That comic fucking rules, man. It's a good comic.
I heard the game actually is relatively fun.
Game's fun.
It has the bending bullet stuff in it too.
Game was all right.
Seems neat.
Speaking of bullets, man, I've been shooting a lot of those in Outriders.
I'm out.
So
see you guys.
Don't write it off too quickly because I think that this game did not show its best hand in its demo. And
no, it did not. I can confirm.
But this game, I will say right now, has one of the dumbest stories ever. It's just not a great story by any stretch.
It's not.
I mean, it's made by People Can Fly. They made like their other story masterpieces were Bulletstorm. So like
that is one of the greatest stories ever told, Chase. What are you talking about?
Bulletstorm is stupid as fuck, and I love Bulletstorm, but Bulletstorm at least knows it's stupid. This game feels like it's trying to take itself seriously and can't.
I think it gets a little bit in that category of Bulletstorm the more you get through it. And that's not so like I literally am skipping through cutscenes and I'm having a ton of fun with a few of the mechanics they've got in place, primarily around it's a lot of Diablo, right? It's a lot of Diablo 3 in the sense of how you're piecing together this build for your character. So there's 4 classes. I had fucked up when I played the demo by picking the wrong class. And I should have known better, but I went with it anyway. And that was
Which one did you go with?
Oh my god, it starts with the Devastator.
Yeah.
And so like that was the one that's like tanky as fuck, high damage, but it also heals off of kills. I had created a second character during the demo for the Technomancer, and I fucking love that class. It is so cool what that one does. You heal on any damage that you output, and this is the one that uses gadgets. This game does a lot of stuff around customization that I think works really well for it, and the way that your gear interacts with itself. And I'm not trying to like bring Destiny into this because I think that's like been overly compared to it. Playing Outriders makes me wish that fucking Bungie would go back to the drawing board and say, how can we make all items that you have on your character benefit each other better? And like if you really wanted to like go full into this, where you have this crazy legendary exotic gun, well, fucking grind out this armor set that's going to make that gun untouchable, or like let you customize it more. Like if I go up against a Titan using arc with this particular gun, maybe he does different things. Maybe he's more healing focused. This game does some cool shit with that, and it's really taken me back.
I will say, I think Bungie's gotten a little better about that recently with things like the Warmind Cell mods and the the stasis powers, the way you can switch up some
Right.
of those things. I think they've gotten a lot better at the build crafting, but that is the number one thing I hear from even Destiny streamers is that, hey, this Outriders thing, I don't necessarily love the game, but the build crafting that you can do, the way you can make all these things, like make an engine for something that really
Yeah.
does cool shit, that game has it in spades.
Yeah, man.
And I can totally see that, even from the demo. Like I know I talked about when I played the demo, I found this really cool semi-automatic sniper rifle or
Yep.
burst sniper rifle, and every time I reloaded it, it would do a little bit of AOE damage, which was again pointless for a sniper rifle. You shouldn't be close to anything with a
Right.
sniper rifle. But the idea that there were things, there were modifications for these weapons that had those kinds of far-reaching implications, I could see the potential for a lot of really cool builds for that.
And what's great about it, and again, like, they're not the first to do this, but I think they've really executed it well, is any piece of gear that you get that has a mod on it, when you break it down, that mod goes into your library, no questions asked, and you can apply that mod to any piece of gear that can accept mods. And if you have a piece of gear that just looks cool, that doesn't accept it, maybe it's a lower quality, you can invest in material to make it legendary, epic, etc., whatever it needs to be, and then you can socket in whatever mod you have. And so you can carry these mods around on any gear that you get, and as you progress up, you get gear that has like 2 or 3 mod sockets. The build that I have right now is really focused on, there's an ability for the Technomancer that isn't around his gear as much as it is, there's something called blighted rounds, which it applies this toxicity to your rounds. Well, on the skill tree, I've unlocked vulnerability. So when I execute this, it applies vulnerability on it, and then I've got gear. Dude, I'm melting people, and just I've stacked up this daisy chain of a build that is fucking wild. And again, the game sucks. The story sucks. It's so dumb. The story is so dumb. But I go between those story beats and I go out and just start shooting shit and playing with the mechanics and picking stuff up and getting that loot drive and chasing the loot and chasing the build. And I'm having so much fun with that. So Outriders,
are you playing by yourself primarily or with other people?
I've done both. I've probably put in more time lately as by myself, but I've played quite a bit with other people, and there's a lot of fun to be had when you've got different classes out there in the field.
Has the world felt more alive than it did in the demo? I remember like when we were out in that like main area, it was just dead, and then we'd go to little instances that would be missions, and then you'd go back to this big area that had nothing in it. So like
so everything's like micro hubs, right? And you've got a camp that's set up at each hub. Jacob or however you say his name, he's going to be the guy that drives your truck through. So like if you want to go to the next area, that's going to be there. But the cool thing about it is so yes, the world's definitely like open up with like more flora and stuff like that. There's alien creatures that you're fighting against, animals that you're fighting against. But that first area was very much like road, cover, fight, etc. And things are kind of broken up that way still. Like I know where there's going to be a firefight, I should say that much, based off of the level design. But they do more things with, there's bounties that you get where there's like some of the early people that you fought in the demo, like the epic bosses or whatever, like they get unlocked again. So every side mission that is in the game is immediately replayable as soon as you complete it. But these bounties will happen where you pick up a bounty and you go out there. It's a little bit of an elevated fight with that same person, but then you always get an epic piece of gear from it. And so you can see on your map where they're at. The same thing, there's beast hunts as well. So you can go and do these things where you're hunting down like these alien beasts and you get some really cool stuff with that.
Almost like hunting a monster?
Almost, yes. So yeah, it's definitely more alive there for sure. I'll be playing more of it. I'm going to stream that. I'm not going to stream it. I'm going to be playing along Hybrid Glass, friend of the show, this weekend. And he'll be streaming some stuff there, so you can tune into his channel and check out the antics. Before I talk about my last game here, still playing a shit ton of Subnautica. Just unlocked the submarine, which is really fucking cool. Playing a ton of that game. Love it, love it, love it. Still playing a lot of Monster Hunter Rise. We're going to be going live with that on Friday. And I'll give another shout out for ongoing streams for another game later on. But I played a new game. Probably got about an hour and a half, 2 hours into it. It actually comes out. It's been in early access since May of 2019, but it comes out full release on Friday. So if you're listening to this, it comes out today. But Friday the 9th, this game will launch. It's called Trials of Fire. This is another game for me and Chase to play together. It is a deck building RPG, but it's way heavy on the RPG, and it's fucking cool. So, I'm playing this on Steam, so I've downloaded it for PC.
Is it also available for Mac?
I have not checked that yet.
I will check.
This one's pretty. I think that when you get your fancy new MacBook, you'll be fine, but it is a little bit more graphically intense than some of the other stuff that I've been playing.
It's not, but it's coming to Switch.
Okay, that's better.
So, this is a grid-based game, tactical game, hexagonal shape. So you have 3 character pieces that you unlock more characters. So I've unlocked 3 other character classes so far. Think like Baldur's Gate level of like fantasy style characters. And everybody brings a unique moveset to it, but your character has a full fucking loadout. Like think of Witcher, RPG, any of that shit, where you can outfit, you're getting legendary epic gear for your character. And every time you equip one of those weapons, like 2 to 3 cards go into your deck based off the weapon that you equip. And so like the mage in my group they had this one staff by default that was casting fire damage like 3 tiles out from it. But I found this other staff that it was more focused on healing. So it had this free move that gave me a barrier to all my characters whenever I played it. And so I swapped out these, and like you go to basically in between fights, you're walking around inside this book of this overworld, and there's going to be random events that you can pop into and fight. There's way more events on this one than like even Slay the Spire, where there's dice rolls happening on like, hey, you might get hurt, but you might get some loot out of this. There's some really great synergy that happens between it. So if I have one of my characters moved up to a point where they can attack, and I have my other character next to them, there's combo attacks that happen. So if I do a slash damage, I can stack those up. There's a lot more numbers being crunched in this compared to Loop Hero, compared to Fights in Tight Spaces. It's another layer, but it's incredibly well done. It's more of a loot game. Like it's again, not to go back to Diablo because I did that with Outriders, but it's like Diablo meets Slay the Spire.
Everything is Diablo. It's fine.
Yeah, it's really fucking cool. It's really good looking. It's got yeah, it's awesome. I'm a little overwhelmed by all the mechanics. So I'm still trying to get my footing with it, but I'm having a great time so far. Trials of Fire comes out. I don't know if it comes out for Switch on Friday or not, but it comes out to 1.0 on Friday.
So I just realized I did know this game because I read a Polygon article about it that came out relatively recently. But
it's cool.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it didn't like the Polygon headline. Just it says Trials of Fire mixes Slay the Spire deck building with XCOM's turn-based tactics, and I was like, okay, sure, I'm in.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
I don't know if I loved the look of it. Like it looks a little Hearthstone-y maybe, and just like the way it's got numbers like attack and defense on your characters.
Oh, one of the other things too, a big mechanic. I'm sorry. So your mana pool or whatever you want to call it, like your moves. So if you get like 3 per round or whatever, you start every turn. You start out with no move, so you have 0, and so some cards cost 0, but you can eat a card to get a move. And so like that's how you build up that pool. So like you have 12 cards that come up, and there's hero cards as well that are unique to each of your classes. But there's also things being shuffled in. So there might be one where it's like rally, but I don't need a rally right now, so I'm going to eat that card. And if I eat it, I can immediately move. If I eat a character's card, I can move that character, or I can use that point to attack with another one. So there's some really cool stuff that you can do to kind of sacrifice. Like even one character has a move called Bloodletting, where they're like, okay, I'm going to take 3 HP damage, but I'm going to get 4 will points, whatever. There's some crazy shit. It's a lot. It's very dense.
Some neat systems that play.
Yeah.
With it.
So Chase, I'm playing more deck building games than I'm playing a turn-based anime JRPG. I hope you're happy.
Yep.
I am happy. I'm surprised and happy. I can't find anything that says it's coming to Switch anytime soon. It looks like it's coming for all the consoles.
Okay.
So I imagine this is probably just a PC release at this point, but it'll probably come.
Yeah, and that's it, man. Like that's what's going on.
Cool. Actually, let me just go to the eShop as Johnny starts talking about his games.
Johnny, what's up with you? What have you been playing?
I beat Monster Hunter.
Did you beat monsters?
We don't play Monster Hunter anymore. That's cool.
No,
that's
Chase.
No. That's what I heard. You're done with Monster Hunter. You finished it.
In a way, the game has only just begun. No, I hit credits on Monster Hunter Rise last night. Was it last night? No, it was Monday night. It was shortly after you guys concluded your stream on Monday.
Okay.
That game, man, I had a really hard time finding time to play the other things that I was talking about because all I want to do right now is play Monster Hunter.
It's very good.
I decided that I am going to main the hunting horn, and I built one out of Raytheon parts. It looks like a big bell, and it also rings like a bell whenever I hit monsters, and it's very good.
Well, I get to see that in action on Friday night.
Oh yeah. No, I'm going to be working towards the one that you can build from the monster that's on the cover of the game.
Magnamalo.
Yeah. The horn you get from him. He's got some pretty good stuff.
Awesome.
And Bobby, is it just me, or does this game feel easier than World did? In some ways?
No, I don't think it's easier. I think that the mechanics that they've put into it are better, but I think that you and I that was our first one.
We've also put hundreds of hours into Monster Hunter World.
I have almost 400 plus hours in Monster Hunter World, so if this one didn't feel easier, I did something fucking wrong for 400 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing people say, is that a lot of people are saying this game is really easy to get into. And what they actually mean is, well, I played World and I have all this institutionalized knowledge now.
Yep.
So this game doesn't tutorialize you as much as something like World does.
Right.
It lets you kind of just jump right in.
Mhm.
So a lot of those players are going, well, this is great. And it's maybe not actually the best Monster Hunter game for a brand new person to get into.
Fair.
But if you've already played Monster Hunter games before and have an idea of what they do and how you're supposed to play them,
and
this game is relatively
to be fair, the people who typically played Monster Hunter games are the same people that have been playing Monster Hunter games since they first came to the States, because until World, it was a pretty niche. Like, it wasn't like an affair the way it is in Japan. Like, it was something
but
that
World was
sold well enough
definitely
to get localized. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm actually really excited to get more familiar with the brand new weapon that I really enjoyed in World, but it took me long enough to figure out how the charge blade worked in World.
Sure.
And the hunting horn was like as complex of a thing as that was. In this one, they've really simplified it down and like really refined it. And I understand that, some veterans of the series.
If you can't get good, get easy.
Yeah. You can change it to make it more like what it was in the old game.
Why would you?
Why would you though? Because it's so good, and the game rules. I love it so much. The rampage stuff kind of sucks, but you don't have to do it that much.
Do you feel like what is the rampage stuff? I've heard people say that, but I don't know what it is.
Tower defense.
It's basically tower defense. So you have
tower defense.
You have these monsters that are attacking, trying to break into the gates of the city, and you have different spots on the map that you can set up. Auto attacking units. You have a bomb that you can set out on the ground that blows up, and then everything has a timer. you have weapons that you will man yourself, and then you also have you can summon legends, which is like other like it's NPCs basically that come and deal big damage. So whenever the big monster makes its way through is when you summon those to try and take them out before they break all the way through your defenses. Um, and it's neat in concept. I think it's just when Bobby and I did one together, it was a lot more manageable.
Yeah.
But doing it all by yourself is a little overwhelming. I haven't failed one, but it wasn't my favorite thing that I did. Like it's cool because you get like parts from all of the monsters that you kill during the rampage. So in a way, it's a little bit more productive than just doing like a singular hunt for something. But it's not what I'm there for.
Do you feel like you are in a point where you can make a statement on where this one sits against World for you?
I think I'll probably say this one is better than World. Just
like it doesn't look as better as good.
It doesn't look visually as good as World, but the changes that they have made,
Yeah.
you know,
The way it plays, the mechanics are just
the
superior.
way it plays that as long as you have your wire bug charges, you can just ZL and B and pull yourself right back into the fray, and even attack as you're coming back. So there's less downtime. The
What about from
Palamute,
like a story perspective? Because
this-
World felt like it had. I know the story
it's
doesn't matter
bad.
in these games.
It's all
but
bad.
It's
like
maybe
the
as
sto-
bad as
it-
Outriders.
Well, World
real-
felt like it had at least a story that it was going for. Does
Sure.
Rise have like an actual story thrust
Yeah,
of
you just been granted the rank of hunter, and oh no, there's rampage happening, which means monsters are going to come attack the village. Better go kill stuff and get parts. And there'll be people that ask you to do them favors, which usually entails like killing a monster, collecting a part from it.
Sure.
But that's not the important part. I usually just skim through the dialogue. The animation that happens whenever you order food is still excellent. I do miss Muscular Chef a little bit,
How could
but
you not?
I think that the girl chef and her Palico assistants preparing the was it Dango?
Her name, Johnny, and I'm surprised that you don't know this and that I would know it more than you as I look it up on my note here.
Yeah,
is Yomogi the chef, and she is a sweetheart, and I love her.
She's the best girl of Monster Hunter Rise.
She makes the best Dango.
Yep.
So this is the second best Monster Hunter thing that's going to come out this year.
This is going to be right now. If depending on how I feel when I'm concluded with my time with it, which I'll probably play just through the rest of the year. Who am I kidding? Like this is strong contender for my number one spot right now.
I don't think that's
true,
but
I tend to.
It's going to go like Monster Hunter Stories 2, obviously
Mhm.
number one, and then I think this probably takes the number 2 slot.
I'll
And then the
probably enjoy
Hunter
Monster Hunter
movie.
Stories too.
Whatever we have
Monster
to do
Hunter
to put
movie
Monster
might be
Hunter at the
third.
top of the
Might be
Casual
second,
Hours
I don't
Game
know.
of the Year list, we will do. Whether it be riding them or hunting them, Monster
Yes.
Hunter will
They
reign
do
true.
ride them in this. Oh man, the wyvern hunting is so fun. It's
It
so
is.
it's stupid.
It's really good. And Johnny, Friday night's going to be fucking lit. You and me.
It's gonna be great.
Listeners, I will do everything in my power to make sure that will not be our game of the year.
If friend of the show Phil might join us too Friday night.
Awesome. And I have put a couple more hours into Disco Elysium. That game has some absolutely incredible writing. The voice acting is like I think I said this last week. It's
Does it
it's
ever
the game
stop
that-
feeling like it's up its own ass?
No, probably not.
But does it kind of earn being up its
Yeah.
own ass?
Does it? Yeah, I
sometimes?
guess that's a better way
I
of me
think
put it.
so. I think so. Like from what I've played so far, like I don't know. It's unlike any game I've ever played. And I'm really enjoying it. Sounds like Bobby maybe not as
No.
much.
It's just a lot, man. It's a
That
lot.
game wants to talk politics at you.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of okay with that. I'm interested
I'm there
to see
for it.
what some of those things are. The stuff I've heard is that, because it's trying to give you so many options, some
Mhm.
of those dialogue options that you can go down are real dark and shitty
Oh
feeling.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's some path like there's dialogue options that you absolutely should not choose. Because like I think people will just stop talking to you. Like if you
Well, let
weird them
me
out
let me
enough.
unlock a few of those
Um,
with us.
I've decided I think I'm gonna do because there's 4 political paths that you can take. I think I'm gonna go communism. Just it just feels right. Um,
Usually does.
and because you go on a vision quest
Always
at
has.
the end of the game, I think. So I'm interested to see what that is because the
Johnny, you
chances of
commie bastard.
I'm telling you. Yeah, that game's really good. It's I like there is a heavy-handedness to the writing, but that
Sure.
it speaks to me. I really enjoy what it's doing. I
and
think
there
it's
is a lot of writing.
there's a
Like
lot,
there's a
of
lot of
writing.
words in this game.
But I knew what I was getting into because I had played some of it before, and the fact that it's all narrated now makes it a more engaging experience for me this go round.
You know what game doesn't have a lot of dialogue in it?
No.
Yeah, you do.
So last night I was like, okay,
I don't know what to
I
play.
can't
I
play.
got too much stuff going on. I guess I'm
No.
just
My
bored.
instinct
I
was
certainly don't want to finish a video game, but what if I started
I
another one?
I finished one video game this week already. Isn't that
What's
enough for
another
you?
single player game that I can just spend
No,
my
What's
time with so I don't have to hang out
That's
with
not.
Bobby? Oh,
That's
Rez.
exactly my thought. So no, I wanted to play something different for the podcast. Because you guys are really good about bringing like these quirky things that I've never heard of and talking about them.
Yes, Final Fantasy XII,
Yes.
quirky little indie
Outriders.
game.
Shut your mouths. Um, and Rez is a game that I have always wanted to play. I've heard other people talk about it for a long, long time. And it was included in that stay at home
Play at
thing,
home.
play at
Yep.
home thing that Sony did. And so I downloaded it. And Chase, I know that you've played it before. Bobby, have you played it? Do you know what Rez is?
Is that the one where it's like a twin stick shooter? Really big shit. Like, was this on Xbox 360 by chance?
No, I think you're
No.
thinking of what's he thinking of? The one that was Project Gotham Racing.
You know what I'm talking
don't
about?
know.
Like you move your character, like you're moving the thing. Yeah,
Geometry Wars?
Yep.
Geometry Yours. That's
That's
what
what
he's
I'm
thinking,
thinking of.
and it's not that. No, this is
No.
Star Fox.
Yes.
Okay.
So the Rez is I was
So it's
trying to
copying
find
Whisker Squadron, is what you're telling me.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Which I don't think that's in the news, but I'll mention it in the news part. Yeah, but no, this is like Geometry Wars, except it's a Star Fox game.
Yeah,
it is those shapes and colors and shit like that.
and
But it is
music. I played with my headphones on last night, and
as you should.
it's I was trying to think of like what genre I would categorize this in, and Wikipedia does a pretty good job. It says it's a musical rail shooter.
Yeah,
So it is on rails. You have a reticle that you can control. You hold X to target enemies or the item that will take you to the next level, and you let go and you shoot out these laser looking things, and they go to the rhythm of the music as it's playing. And it's I think the best way to describe this game is just it's fucking cool. It's a cool ass video game.
it is definitely an experience. Like
Yeah.
like I'd mentioned it's Star Fox, but it's not even Star Fox. It has the lock on of something like Star
Mhm.
Fox, but it's more about, I wouldn't even say like turning your brain off, because I think there is
It's a
thinking
little bit.
that goes
Yeah,
into
you
it.
got to pay attention to what's happening in front of you or behind you or to the side of you.
But it's definitely
But
more about the audio visuals that are
Mhm.
happening in front of
Yes,
you,
it's
and yes, you get to kind of affect them a little bit by dragging your cursor over some things, but
it's more of a visual feast,
yeah.
an auditory and visual thing that you experience.
Sure.
And I played through the first. There's areas, so you are a hacker who is hacking into an AI that's gone rogue or something. Like it doesn't really explain why you're like what you're doing or why you're doing it. It just kind of throws you into it. But man, it was a really cool way to end my evening last night. I played it for like an hour. I played for like a half hour after work today. It was a really good way to like decompress, just focus on these cool images popping up on the screen. There's a boss fight at the end of each area, and if you die, you have to start all over again. And there's 10 levels that you get through leading up to the boss. And that was
But it's not a long game by any stretch.
it's
Like going through those 10
no
levels, a level can take you like 15 seconds
okay.
sometimes.
Okay. But that's fair. But still.
Oh, I'm not shitting on you. I'm just saying, like, yes, it
No,
would
I'm
be
shitting
annoying
on him.
to
That's what.
die. Well,
Yes.
of course,
Hi.
it'd be annoying to die at a boss and have to start the whole thing over again. But even still, like you said, you finished Area 2. Did you play through Area 3?
No, I've gotten to the boss of Area 2 twice, and I've failed twice. So I need to go back and play through it again.
I finished the Area 2 and
okay, look, Chase.
Okay.
I haven't played this game before. You have.
I shit, man. I think I played. Was there like a Rez HD or something?
Mhm. Yeah.
They've brought this up before. I think I played that one on an Xbox 360 or something a decade ago.
Mhm.
Infinite, so it's basically HD. It's maybe even more HD.
It looks really nice on my
previously.
monitor.
It looks super good, but Rez Infinite also has the additional area X that you can only play with VR, I believe.
Yes.
It's supposed to be like a whole different kind of experience. It's more so taking the Star Fox thing further. It's more of like when you get into an arena battle in Star Fox and you can kind of have a little bit more control of where you go and it's not just on rails the whole time. But I hear a lot of good stuff about Area X, and I won't know because I don't have that fancy VR shit. But you could play the whole game in VR if you wanted to. There's an option. You just hit the touchpad, and it'll switch to VR mode for you. It's cool. It's a cool thing. It's a little hard to grok at the beginning. Like you kind of get thrown in there. They give you a very quick tutorial of like hold X,
these are how the
cursor
controls
over
work.
shit, let go.
There you go.
Yeah. So some things like that second boss, I can understand that second boss could be hard because it's at some point it's like, am I actually doing any damage to it? What am I supposed to attack here? What am I putting my cursor over? So like sometimes like the first phase of it will have like these so this boss has like a bunch of tendril things on it, and those tendrils will open up and okay, I need to shoot the part that opens up. That's pretty easy.
And
but then
it's color coded, like so it does a good job of telling you like where you should be paying attention on the screen.
Yeah. But it has a couple different phases, and those phases do some different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it apparently like it only has this is from me. I didn't remember jack shit about the boss, but when I played it today, it seems like there's only one phase of that fight where you can actually do damage to the boss. And so you have to go through a bunch of these phases just kind of doing shit to get to the part where you can actually do damage to it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
Rez is good. I like Rez.
Yeah, that's all I've been up to. Are we ready?
Bobby, you should play Rez.
You should.
Yeah,
play
I mean I have VR. It. I'll check it out for sure, and I can play it on VR, so that's something I can absolutely do. Yeah, Johnny, I think it is time for the casual report. What happened to your camera?
Oh, it got way out of focus. Yeah, so we've got some news stories to go through here. Baseball. Are you familiar?
I've heard of it.
I've heard of baseball, but not baseball.
Okay, so Jessica Telephone.
Okay, she's back. She's
back. So MLB The Show, a game developed by a Sony studio. We talked about this when it was announced last year or the year before.
Yeah.
But the MLB basically twisted their arm and said, if you want to retain this license, you need to put this out on other platforms.
They shook them down, in other words.
They did.
Yeah, we want to make more money, put this out on more things.
So
they busted their baseballs, if you know what I mean.
It was announced that it would be Xbox, and it did. And then it's coming out on fucking Game Pass on day one. So
they went up to you.
It's not a good. I mean, not a great look for Sony services when they can't include their own baby on theirs.
Yeah.
Especially if MLB's footing so much of this distribution shit with it. Like, throw it on the fucking PS Plus list.
Put it on PS Now.
I mean, this is still about making money. And even though it is free to people on Game Pass, Microsoft is paying MLB some money.
Dude, Sony's not hurting at all.
Yeah, but still,
they don't have nearly the money that the other companies do. For sure.
Also, like, there's got to be at least some people who bought a PlayStation just so they could play the show.
Absolutely.
So
and also, like this game, like yes, the game is there, but they make the real money on all the card Ultimate Team bullshit that they do with that.
Sure.
Like even Microsoft saying, "Hey, it's free." It's like, yeah, but and you don't have to use that. You don't have to do the Diamond Dynasty mode that does all the sellable card shit. But if you
could, if you wanted to,
you could. That is definitely the way they make a ton of their money.
So I thought that was just a cool, like, kind of funny story.
It's a weird thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Part of me wanted to buy the Xbox version just to like have it as this weird curio of this is the first one that came to Xbox. Isn't that crazy? But
I could get behind that. So well, I lost my train of thought. That new Monster Hunter game that we just talked about has shipped 5 million units already, and it's been out for 2 weeks.
It did 3 million, I think, in its first week, and has done more.
Yeah, people like Monster Hunter Chase.
There are literally 5 million of us.
I like some Monster Hunter.
Just not this Monster. So this is barely even a story, but the amount that we talk about Destiny and Halo and just Bungie in general, Bungie announced that they are making a new video game that should be ready by 2025. And that's literally all we know.
Is this the one that's Matter? Like they trademarked the name Matter, but they didn't.
So our team is working on a new secret world in parallel with Destiny. We're looking firmly at 2025. That is the quote I have here. So I can't answer that question. It just was interesting to me that they did this.
Yeah, I mean they need to diversify from Destiny. I mean, as much as Destiny is a big thing for them, it's not going to be the only thing. I know that they got some investment from Tencent a while ago, and part of that is for new games. I think they had a mobile game that they're supposed to be working on as well. So we'll see more from Bungie for sure. Destiny is not their be all end all. But also, it seems like they are investing a lot into Destiny as like Luke Smith goes into more of like an overseer and like lore guy as Destiny goes into different media projects as well.
Yeah. Super interested to see.
Give me a turn-based tactical Destiny game, you cowards.
Yes.
All right.
Please.
Yeah.
Bobby, Valheim. You know it. I know it. It's a cool video game. And
I gotta reset the counter now. It's been 0 weeks since we've talked about Valheim.
And a VR mod was released for Valheim.
Oh, good.
And I am petitioning you now, Bobby, to test this out for us because you are the only one here who has a VR headset.
Yep.
I'm very curious to see what that experience is like in VR.
Those trolls' butt cheeks have never looked better. I'll tell you that much right now.
Get right up in there, just.
You know, the great news about Game of the Year is that, so you guys might not be familiar with this, but like for Major League Baseball, for the MVP voting, if you have two players that are on the same team and they're both really good and they both have a chance to be MVP, what happens is the vote gets split because people are like, oh, I don't know who to vote for. It's this guy or this guy. So sometimes neither of those guys end up winning because their vote gets split. It goes to a different guy who's like the only good guy in his team.
I think I
So
see
my
where you're going
thinking-
with this.
But
My thinking is that
unfortunately
you
for
guys
you,
will fuck each other over with Monster Hunter and Valheim, and then a game that I like will probably end up taking it. That's what I'm hearing.
we can't just change the rules mid.
We're not
Mid-
changing the rules. You
strategy.
guys will just your points will have to go somewhere, and they can't go to the other one, and we'll just have to see where
We
your
will do
allegiance
it the way that we have been doing it since the point system was created.
there's obviously a lot of unknowns
Let me
still
have this. Fuck
for
you.
Yeah.
for the year. I don't know where things will land. I can tell you that I've played some incredible games that I did not even know existed prior to maybe days or weeks before playing them, and this year has been super surprising.
I'm just saying, game of the year, we're kind of in a tight space there, and I
Yep.
think we're gonna have to really fight it out to see what game is game of the year.
I think I can take a few
don't know.
hits before hitting back a little bit there too. So I feel like
I mean, maybe we're just going around in loops.
maybe we might be pushing Johnny out of the way.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe I might push his ass.
What if we push his ass? Oh, we should push Johnny's ass.
Yeah. I will say something about what we're talking about here in just a little bit. I assure you. I've been hanging on to it.
Oh, Johnny, tell us about E3, goddammit.
E3 is back, baby.
Is it? Is it really?
It's, they're doing stuff. So they're having No, they're having an all digital event that is free. I had to clarify that because a rumor was going around that, hey, we're going to charge money for this. So far, Nintendo, Xbox, and Ubisoft are all backing the event, which is better for E3 than it is for those three companies, probably.
Yeah.
Sony, unsurprisingly, has not committed. I would be surprised if they did show up.
Yeah, they don't need it anymore.
E3 sanctioned thing. They'll probably just do their own thing around the same time.
Sure.
Or maybe E3 is not my friend. Jeff Keighley is now my friend. Maybe they'll be BFFs with Jeff Keighley.
Will Jeff Keighley be BFFs with E3? Who knows?
He's best friends with whoever has a paycheck.
What I hope for is, last year when this all went down, there was some really cool opportunities to demo things at home. And I know that a lot of that came more to like the PC side of things, but Chase, you and I had a lot of fun with that Steam Game Festival. We got to do some really cool quick looks with it, and I'm hoping that maybe in a few months there might be an opportunity for us to play some new demos or some of these games that we've been hearing about on the fringe. Maybe something with Sable. Who knows? We'll get a chance to check out a demo of that.
See more about Sable.
Yep.
Johnny, when is E3? When's this?
Does Sable exist? It is June.
It's supposed to come out this year.
It's like June 12th through the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Are these real numbers, or are you guessing?
They're real.
No, they're real numbers. It's in the article.
Okay.
As the article was loading, like I was recalling that from memory because I thought it was correct. And it was. Finally here, rounding out the news. The Analogue Pocket definitely exists, but now it's coming out in October instead of next month. So I wrote in the bullet line here, F's in the chat for Johnny and Chase, please. Chase, you were way less disappointed about this than I was.
I'm excited about it for sure, but like currently it's a system to play games that I already have and already can play on other things.
Yeah.
I get. I know. I'm super excited for the thing. I want it. I will play a lot of it.
It's a cool new piece of technology.
You're absolutely right. But it's fine. Like there are other games. There are plenty of other games that are out right now. Like let them get this one right.
This is chalked up mostly to the same global crisis that all electronics manufacturers are facing with chip shortages
and all that shit.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was rumored that the Suez Canal thing may have contributed. I don't know how substantiated that was. I read that in an IGN article. But yeah, we will get our Pocket someday.
Fair. Johnny.
October. There's a there's a birthday boy in October.
It's true.
Be a good gift.
Appreciate you
Or
taking
maybe
us.
you'll get it.
Can't buy it for
Maybe
me, but
someone will get you a TurboGrafx adapter for your Analogue Pocket.
It's
God.
true. Hey, thank you for taking us through the report.
Wow. Would that be a better or worse gift than Cyberpunk 2077?
You know, it's a gift.
Man,
The gift
it's a
that does
real-
not keep
it's a
on
real
giving.
question on what would be the better gift there.
I'll get you the best Cyberpunk game that they made for the
Is
TurboGrafx.
that game good yet? Can I play that
No,
game yet?
it's not even
Or do I
available
still
on the
have to wait?
PlayStation still.
It's
After their
still-
first
I mean, I
patch.
still-
No,
Yeah.
it's better, but it's not. It's still pretty
It's
messed
not.
up.
My boss played a lot of Cyberpunk. He told me he finished it. He's really excited to talk to me about it. And I'm like, dude, I've got nothing for you. He's like, but you played it, right? It's like, I technically yes,
Well,
I
yeah,
have played that game, but he's like, I don't know, it wasn't that bad. I finished it. It's like, I don't know how you
What
did
is your
such a
standard,
thing.
man?
But I did talk to him about the what's the gun's name that talks to you?
Pippi.
Skippy.
Zippy.
Skippy.
Skippy, that's it. And he's like, hey, I found this gun that talks to you. He's like, yeah, that's the one I was telling you about. What'd you choose? Like, what do you mean? Like, well, when you shoot it, what happens? He's like, oh, it just like aims at their heads all the time. It's like, oh, you fucked up. Up.
Yep.
He's like, what did I do? It's like, oh, he gives you an option and you can shoot everybody in the balls.
Yep.
He's like,
He chose
said
poorly.
You might have to play the game. You might have to play that game all over again just so
Damn.
he can
Goes
do that.
poorly.
What a bummer.
Johnny, thanks for pulling together the news there. Appreciate it. As we
Yeah,
wrap
a little
up,
better next time though.
as we wrap up here tonight, want to say thanks to all of you for bringing the games you brought. Some really cool shit tonight. Looking forward to maybe hearing more about or experiencing myself some of that Final Fantasy XII, and then Rez Infinite, of course, sounds really neat. Chase, I'm going to take a quick moment here to shout out some of the streams that we've been doing. So we do the live episode that you're watching right now every Wednesday, 7:30. I have been streaming on Monday nights and Friday nights, and you two have been either in chat or with me or cheering me on to do this. But the last several weeks, you and I have been playing a series that we've called lovingly Monday Nights Are Alright for Fighting in Tight Spaces, where we are playing through the fights in tight spaces, turn-based beat-em-up game. And this past Monday,
Roguelike
deck builder, we were on part 3. We were on the third boss or the third level of that, and it's a continuous run that you can save your progress. So each week we've been moving a little bit further down the line. I was saying off pod, but I think that Monday night is some of the most genuine fun I've had playing a game in some time. And the way that unfolded, I mean, we definitely had our backs up against the ropes a couple times where we were definitely on death's door. How that all came to be, we've thrown some tweets out about it. There's some clips on our channel here if you go and look for that video on demand and check it out. Fights in Tight Spaces has been such a fucking cool game, and I haven't talked a lot about it on the What You've Been Playing because it's just been something that lives in this little bubble that we've created right now on these streams, and there's an energy that comes from it that's just so fucking good. But this Monday at 10:30 p.m. Central, we're taking on the fucking Mafia, leading up to the final encounter. I'm so pumped.
It'll be
Get
fun.
your
If
gabagool.
it's anything like maybe like we just fought a bunch of ninjas.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun
You threw-
doing that.
you threw one guy out a window.
Whatever they're called.
You
Threw
you
guys out
shepherded
of
him.
windows, push guys off of fire escapes.
Yep.
That game's great. Like that
Game's-
game, it is one of those games that it says it's in early access, but when you play it, like this feels pretty damn full featured
Looks
as it is.
extremely polished.
I'm glad they're going to continue adding stuff to it.
Yep.
But like, this is not an early access game. This is just a game that they're going to keep adding more shit to, and
Totally.
it's really good. It's really, really good.
It's really good. So and then this Friday at 10:30, Johnny and I are going to be playing through Monster Hunter Rise. Our schedule's on stream on our channel as well. If you need a link to finding any of that, you can check the chat there, and you'll see everything that we've got going on. But a lot of cool shit happening around the podcast. Like we've been able to use our technology and split the show into some really exciting ways. And then this weekend, Chase, we're going to record some more quick looks, some more content coming next week on our YouTube channel. But there in chat, everything you need at the Casual Hour for those listening on all platforms. And then you can find us on Twitch and YouTube as well. Chase, you run Gamers on the Go. Tell me all about Gamers on the Go.
Yeah. I mean, Gamers on the Go is a show where myself and a guest will come on. Sometimes two guests come on, and we'll talk about a game or a series that is a handheld game, and we'll just kind of talk about everything about it, how it came to be, what its legacy was, experience playing it. Sometimes we have developers on too to talk about their own games, and it's a fun little show. I'm gonna say this right now to force us to do it. We've already decided that we're gonna do it, but now we're really deciding. Bobby will be on the next episode of Gamers on the Go, and I'm very excited for us to talk about the game that we're playing.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Now it's been said. People have heard it.
Should I spoil it like Johnny did?
No, don't be a Johnny. Yeah,
always
we'll
avoid
let
being
it.
a Johnny.
We'll let it happen, but it'll be a fun time for sure. And I'm really looking forward to finishing that game so I can talk about it with you.
Yeah.
GamersOnTheGo.com, at GOTG Podcast on Twitter. They're the places to find the podcast.
Social links are up in chat now, along with we've asked our wonderful helping bot here at the Casual Hour, Better Johnny, who does everything Johnny should do, but better. And we've asked Better Johnny.
Can Better Johnny do the news?
I can program Better Johnny to do the news. I will get right on that. But
You'll
we
never
asked,
find a better Johnny than the one you have.
we asked Better Johnny to use this magic 8
Johnny's
ball.
always better on the other side.
Is Jude playing Minecraft? And Better Johnny says, sure.
So in the time that we've been recording this podcast, I have received no less than 2 emails from Microsoft thanking me for my purchase of a Minecraft texture pack. So
how much? How much are we talking?
Like $5. He got a gift card over Easter. So yes.
Okay. All right, fair. But hey, I think that's our show.
What kind of textures? No. What kind of textures is he into? What are we talking about here?
Look, man, we don't have time to go down this rabbit hole. There's like mini games that you can buy. It's
you know what's great is that Johnny wants to wrap up this show as he's like despairingly talking about my son buying Minecraft. So he's like literally just wanting to go hang out with us and who just bought textures. I can't wait to get off this show with my friends to go and lament about Minecraft textures.
Yeah.
Well,
I won't keep you.
We will help you get there. That will wrap it up. Episode 215 in the books for us at the Casual Hour. We'll be back Friday night with Monster Hunter Rise, twitch.tv/Casual Hour, and back Monday with part 4 of Monday Nights Are Alright for Fighting in Tight Spaces. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will chat with you soon.